Very good morning to all our dear listeners and viewers. Welcome to ACFIM Talks. Today, 5th of August 2021. You are most welcome. I encourage each one of you to grab a cup of coffee. If you are moving, just make sure that you hit that button, subscribe to all our YouTube, all our platform channels, our YouTube channel ACFIM Uganda, Facebook Live, and then our Twitter handle at ACFIM UG, and then you'll be part of this conversation today. We are discussing a very interesting topic, and I'll be having two hosts that will be joining us shortly. I remain yours truly, Felix Kafuma. I was going to be moderating this talk show for the next 1 hour. But as we wait for our panelists to be part of this conversation, to join us, allow me to give a bit of a synopsis of what we are going to be discussing in the next 1 hour. The question of if populism is now the new strategy of consolidating political support. Yes, I think you've been seeing how politics in Uganda has changed over time, and in the last decade, we've seen the emerging trend of populist politics. Populist politics, in this case, is where the understanding that mass majority interests, if they're not handled properly by a small group of politicians or political parties, other individuals arise and take the space. It manifests in countries differently. It has been happening in the developed North. We've seen it happen in those developed democracies like German, like UK, US. Recently, they had Trump. In India, it's also quite rampant. But in Africa, it tends to take on a different shade and form. For that matter, when it comes to Uganda, populism, politics, which has become more of now a normal practice for politicians of late, manifests in the way that you see them appearing to be philanthropic in nature. They give out donations in form of relief supplies. You've seen, I think you've been seeing how media has been awash with politicians playing the role of government, where they fill the void, they go to their constituencies and provide services to their constituencies. And in doing so, they take advantage of the philanthropy to also politically popularize either their candidature or consolidate their candidature, or make sure that the voters know that they are the ones who have donated, and make sure that the voters don't forget. So in doing so, they are sowing seeds that they expect will germinate after 5 years of term to be re-elected. So you've seen them donate, for example, now in the COVID context, relief supplies, food, for example, and they label the packaging donated by so-and-so, donated by Honorable so-and-so. And they make sure that the media is present and is in full glare of the supposed act of kindness. So they are more interested, these politicians, in being popular, in popularizing their candidature, in winning public sympathy. That's why media must be present. So one wonders whether the act of kindness is the principle, or the kind of kindness is just a disguised form of politicking. So you've seen it happen. It's quite common now. They go out of their way, they donate, they put in place social services, and then they brand them. I think of late you're also seeing ambulances. Almost every ambulance is branded by an honorable who has donated it. The name is actually there in full glare. So that is partly how populism in Uganda is manifesting in the politics of Uganda today. And also another trend that has emerged is now we are seeing seasoned career politicians over time losing the spark to endear the population to vote them. So I think every election year we see more and more non-seasoned career politicians joining politics, contesting and beating career politicians. The so-called elite politics, or the elite politicians, seem to be falling out of favor with the voters. This is not unique just to Uganda. It's also happening across. You saw Trump come up in America and occupy the space. Okay, looks like I saw Honorable Agaba joining. I'm also expecting Honorable Joyce Bagala and Tuatwa to be part of this discussion. But as Honorable Joyce Bagala and Tuatwa joins, let me welcome Honorable Agaba once again to ACFIM Talks. You are most welcome, Honorable.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You hear me?
I can hear you very well, Honorable.
Okay, very good. These ICT provisions these days, we need to update ourselves, but I'm happy to be on. I'm sorry for the delay. It's always good or reasonable for me to make whatever contribution the public thinks I can on whatever the matters there, but I'm happy to be online.
It's always a pleasure to have you, Honorable. This is the second time we're having you, and we really appreciate the fact that you invest time to enrich these discussions. Honorable Abbas Agaba is the former Kitagwenda constituency MP, and I think lost the seat recently here to Honorable Noel Joseph Jamkama. Honorable, are you going to contest again in 2026?
I don't know. God knows what He plans for me. If I'm alive at that time, inshallah, I will weigh the options. I would be happy to contest again. It's good to see what happens in these 5 years. I have taken a low profile to allow the successor to also perform. Normally, when they are not in, they talk a lot. It's good when they get in and we see that they can also perform. I don't want him to say he didn't perform because I kept interfering with his work. Really, I want to be free. I'm quite busy with the law firm, with some other work, some NGOs. I'm doing a few other things, so I want to let him have the space to perform. If he has not performed, or even when he performs and we don't think that's what we deserve, I'm not far from available. That's our place. We need to struggle for it and help it better, and see how we can develop it.
Okay, so reading from the politician script, I can see Honorable coming back in 2026. But yeah, Honorable,
Inshallah.
Yeah, it will be good to have you. I was talking to some colleague of mine that you are one of the few NRM politicians who I think is quite very objective in the way you look at the national politics, and I think NRM in you has a very strong resource. I hope they know that. But I know that you've served as a national youth chairperson at some point. You were also an RDC for Butaleja and Serere District. Quite have a rich CV. You also served as a member of the National Council for Higher Education between 2013 and 2016. You also served on the Africa Peer Review Mechanism Governance Council. So, and interestingly, you also have a background of being an academician. You served as an assistant vice chancellor for Kampala International University. So, I can say that you are a man with a coat of many colors: politician, a development practitioner, a lawyer. It's quite interesting. It's good to have you. We expect to have Honorable Joyce Bagala, who is the current woman MP for Mityana District. She should be joining us. She has also before becoming a politician, she was a media practitioner, served in a number of media houses, the last one being NBS, Next Media Group, NBS, where she served as the news manager before she felt the urge to cross over and serve in another capacity as a politician. So when we talk about politics of populism, I think I have the right blend of panelists. So, Honorable, before you joined, I was.
Joyce is part of the team that talks a lot when they are not there. I want to say this when she's on. And I'll tell her now you have the chance. You are in it. You have been talking about it from the side, admiring it from the side. How is the seat now? How do you feel the heat?
I'm sure she will be very glad to share her experience the first couple of months. She's struggling to join. I hope she can join us and we get this conversation started. But as Joyce joins, I was trying to lay foundation and before you join, but let me briefly give a recap. That in the last decade, we've seen the emergence and growth of what we call populist politics. And it's a global phenomenon. I don't want the viewers out there not to think that it's just unique to Uganda, but it's a global phenomenon almost across populism as politics has emerged in a number of democratic countries. But in Africa, in Uganda, it seems to be manifesting in rather interesting ways. And one of those ways is, now that Honorable, you're out of it, probably be more objective, is that we are seeing politicians of late being very flamboyant in their philanthropy work when they come up and fill the space that ideally should have been filled by the state. And in this case, for example, they are giving out donations. They are like now in the COVID context, many of them have been giving out donations. Actually, starting from the first wave of the COVID, you saw many of them come out to give donations, food supplies, household items. Okay, at that point in time, one would argue it was a campaign period, so politicking was justified. But now, we are not anywhere near campaigns, but you are seeing that many of them, whatever form of philanthropy they engage in be it donating ambulances, they make sure it's in the full glare of media. Minus media, they cannot donate. It's difficult. It's in full glare of media, and whatever items they are giving out are branded. They must carry either the names and the poster or the logo or the name of the candidate, all of the politician. So on one hand, they are doing acts of charity, justified. But on the other hand, on top of that, they are, I would call it, quote unquote, politicking. So we want to have that conversation, picking it from that perspective. But also, part B of the discussion is, which we are going to be having, is the emerging trend of having non-career politicians, non-seasoned politicians now coming up to fill the space, to fill the void, and contesting and joining politics. And Joyce is one of them. Joyce was in media, but probably she might argue that at some point, even when she was serving in media, she was a political animal. Probably, let's wait for her to join. But we've seen, especially now, we've seen non-career politicians getting into politics. Performing artists, we've seen them join. People who are in music, dance, and drama. All those forms of performing artists that have of late taken on to become politicians is another angle we want to discuss. All that embeds how populism as politics evolves and manifests in Uganda. So with that bit of background, Honorable, help me understand what is explaining this growing trend of the public display of political philanthropy, these kinds of acts in full glare of media, and politicians making a public spectacle of their philanthropy work on one hand, but on the other hand, politicking. Why are we having this kind of politics emerging and in Uganda taking that format?
Thank you, Felix, and the followers. Just like I stated earlier, of course, I'm happy to stream with you and the others, and to make comment on what you think is salient for our country, for our people. You see, politics is different from religion. And in religion, what you do, in my own religion, for example, I'm Muslim, we are told that when I give out with the right hand, the left hand should not know that actually I've given, the right hand has given out. So the understanding is that if you are giving out for purposes of faith, for purposes of helping, for purposes of God, you do it in a decent, actually say in as decently as possible. And that's when you are rewarded for it. But in politics, it's different. In politics, it's different. In politics, it is show off. Even when you go to build a church, you must announce how much money you have given. Unfortunately, even when you go for a burial, you must announce how much money you have given at the burial. Unfortunately, because the understanding would be, if I've come to attend a burial, I give my mabugo, amazika, simply, and I go away. Why do you have to announce what Abbas has given? But because of politics, even the bereaved, they say, hey, Honorable Abbas has not come to bury, but he has sent 200,000. They will even clap for you. Oh, Honorable Abbas is around, I give my speech, and I have some burial money here of 200 or 300 or 500 or so. Take it. They'll be very happy. Trends have changed a little. Now, for you, the kind of leadership you're referring to, that you're talking about, these are leaders of the 7th, 8th Parliament, whom we grew up admiring. Say, I want to be like Amanya Mushega. I want to be like my mother Vitamazile. I want to be like Honorable Saida, etc. Saida Bumba and others. Those are a few whom I can list. Of course, there are many. Those you would list and say they have been voted based on merit, on competence. What does a member of parliament do? There are 4 cardinal roles, and I've mentioned them before. They are known. A member of parliament does representation. That's why you are elected from among your own people. You come and represent them. Normally, people vote for the representatives who are closely like them. If you are very different from them, it's very difficult that they'll vote for you. And sometimes when you are in, you find they get you out. Not because they don't like you, but you possibly don't understand the way they understand. Or you need to appreciate things the way they appreciate them. Number 2, MPs do legislation. So you need a member of parliament who can legislate, who can make laws. Number 3, members of parliament do what they call appropriation. Appropriation is the budget, the national budget. You appropriate, Karamoja will have this, Minister of Works can take this, Minister of Gender take this, Kitagwenda, you have this in the budget. Now, number 4 is oversight, supervising government programs. If there are programs like Operation Wealth Creation, you need to follow up as parliament, how far, what is happening to them, where is the money going, with the money we are putting, what has it been able to do. If there are programs, the other time we had a hospital to be built at Luvoa, and members of parliament went to the scene to see, to the site to see the construction and how far it's going. Of course, they were stopped by the PS of health, the PS of finance made a very interesting statement at that time. Of course, sometimes there are individuals who are more powerful than states, some organs of government, but that's different. The point I'm making is that those are cardinal roles of, say, a member of parliament, because most politicians are seen at the level of parliament and maybe LC5 and in the councils. Now, the leaders are a reflection of the people they lead. It's normally difficult to assume that a person is voted and therefore he acts different. What do people want? In an urban constituency, like that one of my sister, Joe. I hope she comes on early. And Kampala municipalities, you are good to go if you're opposition. As long as you are NRM, it's very difficult for you, very difficult. In fact, I got so surprised how the Honorable Seninde, she was Honorable Seninde Rose, kept on as MP for Wachiso for this long. Because most urban areas, as long as you're a member of opposition, you are good to go. So I would be surprised if, I wouldn't be surprised if the NRM doesn't perform well in urban areas, because the starting point is opposition. Then the others follow. They don't look for, because you argue for them, you speak for them, they believe that because you're opposition, you feel the pinch the way they feel it. But even NRM people feel it the same way. I mean, you are shopping in the same supermarkets, you are using the same roads, you are drinking from the same water points. They should be able to. And two, a member of parliament for an urban area who is a member of the ruling party would be more useful, because he will take your points quickly to the government before the opposition. But that's not how people look at it. They look at it differently. They want a person who is anti-government, such that he makes the government aware all the time. The taxes are high, the water problems, the health problems, etc. Now, this is the background to answering your question. Members of parliament have resorted to being welfare officers. Welfare officers in the sense that they work more about the welfare of the people than encouraging government to do it for them. A person will donate whatever they can. It appeals to the emotions of the people, because politics is not only about performance. It also entails other things. So somebody will look for an ambulance to donate because it attracts attention to him. Somebody will look for any other. I mean, it's not only donations that attract attention. Demonstrations attract attention. Walk to work, resistance here, it attracts attention. But now, for me, assuming I'm in as a member of parliament and I came to Kampala and I began participating in demonstrations, the people who voted for me will be very disgusted with me, because that's not the kind of approach they want to see. But if you are voted from Kampala, from Wachiso, from Mbende, from Mityana, from especially these urban areas, and you're not actively participating in disorganizing government, people are like, hey, really, is this the same person we voted, or they have been compromised? You should speak to my colleague Katurwama, the honorable, and he gives you his scenario of Rubaga South, where he's been. He says, you sent me to speak for you, I spoke for you. You told me not to touch the money, to return the money for Tojikwatako, I took it back. You all told me to do this. I did everything as you wanted. So what exactly happened that you didn't again vote for me, even when I had complied with what you had asked me to do? The point I'm making is this. The members of parliament, there's a difference between politicians and the leaders. Sometimes you find the two combined in one. You find the person is a politician, but is a leader. A leader should be able to guide the people to where you want to take them, even when the road is difficult. But for a politician, you simply identify what the people want. You dance to their tunes, whether it is good for them or it is bad for them. That's their own problem. That's politician. Because for a politician, what you are looking for is the vote. You're not concerned about the quality of life the people live. No, you hold on to what holds you, and then you speak about it. You dance around it, and it will favor you. It brings you in. So people are buying ambulances. The money you have been given is for buying vehicles, but unfortunately, it is not part of the money you account for. Even when you go out of the country, you are given what we call you are given not honorarium, per diem. Now the per diem, you spend it as you wish, but be careful to spend it right, because if you are given $700 to find decent accommodation out of the country, and then you end up sleeping in the shacks of South Africa, of London, where you bring a bad name to the country. You are not going to account for the per diem to the parliament, but don't save too much also. Save a little, but have a decent stay when you're out of the country. So this 200 million they gave them is not part of what they have to account back for. That I went and bought a car worth this, I went and bought this like this. And two, it's a connivance also with government. Why? Because government normally buys vehicles we call brand new. A brand new vehicle is in a simpler way, a mileage zero vehicle, mileage zero. It has not been, that's brand new. So according to government, if you give an MP 200 million, what kind of vehicle are they going to buy when it is in the standard of government? So government is saying, if we are going to buy for you a mileage zero car, it will cost us about 500 millions or 600 millions. So you take this 200 and see how you cater for yourself. Now, my MP Segirinya picks the 200 and puts it in the pocket, says, hey, hold a minute. If I had to buy a good car with this 200, people might not understand me well. In order to keep active with them, let me surprise them with an ambulance. And it works for him. The other time, some members of parliament bought ambulances and they lost with them. Others bought ambulances and they won again. So it's a balance between what you're supposed to be doing as a leader and what the people want you to do. I can give you my own example. In my term of office, I concentrated on attracting or bringing people close to government. Because at the end of the day, Felix and those following us, you as a politician, you as a leader, you don't have the money to help government provide a service. You cannot. Government is too big, it is huge. It is the one responsible for giving a service to the people because they are the ones who collect the taxes. It is government. So the little money government has given you, you don't spend it again on offering a government service. But you as a leader, speak for your people so that they can get the government service. That's the essence of leadership. So what I did, I said, no, let's have more schools taken on by government such that the people can study for free. In that struggle, I got 3 schools, secondary schools, which were government aided, 3. And so one of them actually got new buildings totally. And I thought to me that was good for the people. But a local person will say, instead of bringing this, why doesn't he bring the about 50 millions or so involved? We share it. If I can take 1,000 of it, I don't mind. That would be good for me. But that's being selfish. So it requires you to create a balance between the leader in you and the politician in you. The people might want to share the little money, and then they like now that man of vehicles. You don't be surprised to find some politicians who went home and they called people for a booze party. That is the 200 you said to me. It is here. You share. They take. You can, of course, you can't spend all the 200. You get off like 50 people. Get rukumi 1,000 each. Move around the constituency. Dish out a bit, and then they'll be good to go. The people will still love you. But the question is, the leader in you, what value have you added for the people? So to me, my friends, the members of parliament, I don't mind if they choose to donate the vehicles, of course, the vehicle money, they choose to buy ambulances, choose to make a contribution to the society, that's all right. But that does not take away your obligation as a leader to lobby government to bring those services to your people, because that's why you've been sent there. You represent. Representation means go and speak about our problems. There was a time when crocodiles were finishing my people in Kitagwenda there. You know, Lake George is not crocodiles are not endemic in the Lake George. But when government introduced them, slowly by slowly they surged, there were many. Now, young children would go to pick water, even old people, the crocodile grabs you and you are gone. So I didn't have to mobilize the community to hunt them down to be eaten because they would have done that. But I asked Parliament to create a safe corridor alongside which they can get clean water without the crocodiles accessing the people. So you choose between, you may choose to do one thing that makes you popular. That's a populist approach, but don't make the people sleep to think you are the solution to everything, because that approach is not sustainable. Donating the food items is good, running to the rescue of the people, because at the end of the day, Felix, if somebody loses someone, if a neighbor dies, you don't wait for an invitation card to go. You have to go there, commiserate with them, and also make a contribution. So if If the politician is making a contribution over the COVID problems, fine. But don't come and tell us your money for vehicles, you have used it for buying relief items. That still would have come from your own personal money. But also, as you buy for them personal things, from your relief from your personal money, ask government to also give them relief, because government has given 500,000 people relief money, 100,000, the famous Nabanja money.
Yes.
So you mean my people in Kitagwenda don't deserve the Nabanja money? The people from Fort Potro or Kawempe is near here. The people from Kamwenge, don't they deserve the Nabanja money? Yes, they deserve. So for you as the MP from Kamwenge, from Kitagwenda, from where, we should see you on the floor of the house asking government, please, thank you for the 500,000 you gave the city dwellers, they got. But there are people in the village who are in the same category as those city dwellers who didn't get money. This is where the MP should be. But unfortunately, our people who are the ones who benefit when you work hard, who suffer when you don't work, they don't assess you in those lines. When you bring something, a one-off like this one, it makes you popular. Another one-off, now you wait and see. Most of them are waiting. At the time of, towards the campaigns, they come in with big money to counter the bosses who are waiting for the positions. Now, for me, when I was in as an MP, I am sure I know that those who wanted to unseat me were busy in the village burying the dead every day, sleeping at funerals every day. And you know, when they are there, you know, they tell the people, hey, where is your man? You voted for him and he went to Kampala. He will never come back. But for me, I'm here.
Campaigning is a full-time job.
The local person doesn't know that Kampala is where Parliament is. And they have sent you to go to Kampala. Even him, when you send him to Kampala, he will go to Kampala. He's not going to be sleeping at the funerals. He's doing it strategically for purposes of passing through as a vote. So, in a nutshell, really, without keeping on for long, yes, the donations, the philanthropy is welcome, because we are all encouraged to be philanthropic. You, Felix, and others, you go and you go to church, you give some money to the church, to the mosque. There's a construction, you give. Burunji Wansi for the road, you come and participate. So when people are in a crisis like now, we have been in COVID, you are encouraged to give, even from your personal money. But to donate an ambulance, on one side we receive it, but on the other hand, it doesn't remove the obligation from you to ask government to give us an ambulance, because we deserve. If you create a health center for yourself, like I put up a health center 3 in one of the sub-counties in my village. The issues in our village, in my constituency, are very interesting. We put up a health center 3 using some of my friends in the Arab world. Then we got in touch with Maristops. So Maristop came, they would give birth for free. So I put up the health center. I brought Maristops to help me. Those who are pregnant, when they would be checked and they are pregnant, they even give them transport. They come and deliver for free. So the question is, after delivering for free, does this person still link the vote with you, or at the time of voting, something else excites them and they vote the way they want? So this is the balance.
Okay.
It's a balance between the populist politician you are and the leader, the people expect of you.
Okay, Honorable, that's quite interesting. You are raising a very important narrative of leaders versus politicians, balancing the act. And then you say that usually, which is true, and the electorate gets the leader they deserve, a leader who looks like them. Now, when you look at because I've been observing parliaments over time, from the 6th parliament, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, there seems to be a trend that probably we have more of politicians and less of leaders, or even those who were once leaders have adopted more, or they practice more of being politicians than being leaders. Could this also partly be explained by the changing caliber or behavior of the electorate? Because you referred to the period where you had more of leaders and the electorate were not demanding so much or expecting so much other than mainly the roles of a legislator, to now what has changed to have a welfare leader or a welfare politician who speaks the language the electorate understand, who endears the language the electorate understand. Is it an issue that maybe the trends have changed, so politics has to change, and the role of leadership doesn't pay anymore? It's not necessarily rewarding. It will not guarantee you if you just do more of being a leader and less of being a politician. It may actually cost you an electoral seat. So is it more of a changing trend? And secondly, is it possible also to win an election by just being a leader, more of a practicing leader than being a populist politician? Looks like populism is one of the quick tickets to getting in parliament.
Yes, it's possible you can choose, you can be a leader for your people, especially if you believe you have a journey to walk with them. I mean, one of those leaders I've admired greatly is Moses. And if anybody is analyzing leadership, I think the Moses example is the best, because Moses led the Israelites from Egypt to Canaan, which he didn't reach himself. But the journey from Egypt up to wherever Moses ended, I think is one of the most difficult journeys in the world. And the politicians must appreciate this. You know, I mean, the Israelites were in the desert with Moses, and God tested them with hunger. You know what they told Moses? That you guy, you got us from Egypt, where we were eating for free, sleeping for free, and you brought us to die in the desert of hunger. Thank you, you were eating for free, but you are slaves. We are on the road to liberation. Please be patient. That one stayed. Then the diseases came. Then the water, they didn't have water. Until it also made Moses to grow into almost a different person from the original one they had. You know, the time God told Moses to hit the rock and water came through. He first used the stick to separate the Red Sea, and they passed. People easily forgot about it. It was something so special to happen that they didn't expect it to happen. But you can imagine, after a short while, they forgot about it and they were concerned about what is happening now. Now, when they needed water, and God told Moses, hit the rock and produced water. The water came through, and Moses, I think, was almost fed up. He told them, you guys, you have now seen my power as Moses, because I have now hit the rock to give you water. So please reduce your pressures on me. Until God reminded Moses that, hey, please, because the Quran says, and the Bible also, God parted on the chest of Moses and told him, please, the power is mine. I just lend you a little. It's not your power. So I brought this analogy, Felix and others following us, that leadership is truly different from populism or politics, the way people take it. But you must stand your ground as a leader, and the people must understand where you're taking them. But in order to have that capacity, you must be with them for some time, like 10 years. Then you understand each other, you know their highs, their lows, their interests, the risks you are going to face with them as you lead them through what you are taking them through. People need liberation, but liberation is not at the fore of their thinking. They are those who have selfish and personal interests, who want to benefit from the revolution or from the struggle as soon as they can. And the same happened in Uganda. We thank people who liberated this country by 1986. But beyond 1986, there are those who have taken advantage of the liberation to plunder the wealth of Uganda, to enrich themselves, to pay themselves for the struggle they were involved in. What does that mean to the question you are asking? It is risky in the current times to keep as a leader, a good person, leading people to the right path. People not go with you because they have other antecedent demands which are of today. But it's not a new thing. Like I gave you the scenario of Moses. After liberating people from slavery, where they were giving labor for free, even if they were eating, How would you compare free food with the free labor you are giving? If you had your freedom, you would have made the food yourself and others. But people need to constantly be, you deal with them slowly and you make them understand the future, where you are going slowly. Otherwise, as a leader, you may also get annoyed, say, there you are, I am tired, I can't move with you. So amidst that, the leader is leading the people to where they are going. But there's a lot of opportunistic populists around who are looking at the weaknesses of the leader. You think he's there debating for you in parliament? The man is enriching himself. All the money he gets, what does he do with it? He's a Mkorogam, he doesn't give you money. For me, I'm here. I've shared the little I have with you. So you need a balance. But in actually, currently, to be honest with you, there is a very bad trend of populism, and it has come because of two factors. The first factor is that even in the team we had of the good leaders that I was talking about, some others were corrupt, and they kept swindling government money, and they were not being dealt with. You know, the president of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is a president, he's a leader, and a good leader, but he's a parent. That compromise, people steal money. When he raises the axe, before he can cut off the head, he say, but really. So he has to find a way of dealing with him, give them time to reform, giving them chance to repent, to do better. Maybe they can have another role they play. That's how he helps. He works, he does it. But another person will come to lead this country who will be uncompromising, I think. If you have stolen and the law says you are killed, then you go. Then things might change a bit. So the point I'm explaining is that along the way, even when we had good leaders, some who were corrupt, and those corrupt ones had their way, and it destroyed the thinking of many others. Someone enters government and is like, I don't know at what time I'll leave, so I better take the little I can get before I am out of government. Two, the money in politics, money in campaigns. Money in campaigns has reduced it has discouraged the would-be good people to involve themselves in elections. So you get those who can give money, and they don't care, they are not embarrassed. Why would I as Abbas Agaba be found lining up my people for Rukumi to give me a vote? Why would I? Really? It's not a do or die. So to me, because there are alternatives of other things I can do, I don't take politics as a do or die. But there are other people whose qualifications are in the middle. He has a senior six that is purged up, and this is a great opportunity for him to raise to power. So he will do everything possible to make sure they win. They will assemble all the witch doctors there is. They will assemble all the people they think they can get to make sure that they win. It's a do or die, and this is dangerous. So when a person comes to parliament as a do or die, or gets to access leadership as a do or die, it's very difficult for them to work for the people. And I'm now out of the group that blames the people, because it's the people who vote for him, given the little motivation they have got at that time. But they are taking advantage of their gullibility. They are taking advantage of their susceptibility. Otherwise, in a better setting, a person is waiting to take the child to school. He has no school fees. So for you, even if you are the one who has educated this child up to senior 4, in this current election, you want school fees for senior 5. Then the other politician comes and gives him 200,000. He is actually more likely to campaign for the one who has given him the 200,000 now, because it is the need he has now to deal with. And forget about you who has educated the child up to senior 4. When you sit on the table to reason it, it's unreasonable. It's really it's unthinkable. But when you go back on the side of the person, the one doing it, it's the need that he has now. Okay, if you are hungry, and then a person brings you the most expensive clothes, you are likely to sell the clothes and get the money to feed yourself. Even when the clothes have been donated by the very, very closest friend you have. So the point I'm making, which you asked rightly, there's a new blend of very corrupt leaders, and also in some cases incompetent, because the the benchmarks are not the same, but those ones, they find other routes to jump. They will still reach there. You remember those stories we used to read when we were young of the elephant and the Mr. Hare?
Yeah,
They
Mr.
go
Hare.
in a race, yes, and Mr. Elephant is running very hard, but Mr. Hare is acting smart. He's running smart. Pop onto the back of the elephant, and before they reach, he jumps off and is there. He's declared a winner. So the worry is now our children. If they see more Mr. Hare tricks in politics, even those who don't have the senior six can get there, then they struggle around. And when those without the right qualifications get in, they play to the gallery. They play to the interests of the people. People are like, this guy is good. Those things of qualifications of yours, you stay with them. For us, we like this one because he's good. He does ABC like that. But how do you deal with it? So two things change the trend. When people used to vote for the most competent, the one who go and debate well in parliament, the one who speak for them to get social services, the one who do for them ABC, came those who are willing to give money. You need a hospital, yes, but you need 1,000 to buy Panadol for yourself, yes, or to buy something to drink. You can't buy. You vote for me. The rest we shall see. 5 years, the man is not there. 10 years, the man is not. But when he comes to go for the vote, he gives money. Or others come and segregate people based on tribe, based on religion. We are, for us as this religion, we are the majority. Then he knows it. So they instigate the religious leaders to spread that very bad propaganda among the people. Say, we are going with our own. But your own can't even say a word in English. Yeah. He's the omuteta. Omuteta is a funny word in my language. Omuteta is somebody who cannot talk. He's dumb, but he's ours. He's the one who is our person. So this has also negativated on the work of the revolution. When you thought people have now gotten advanced, they have moved far from the politics of tribe and religion to now politics of merit, competence. The things are resurfacing. Why? Because of the bad mobilization of these guys. So this is how I look at it. We had moved on a good trend until these two factors came in. Corruption, which is not abated, then use of money in campaigns, they distorted the principles. You find if you go for a campaign, if you don't have money, don't talk. It is the one with money who talks. Even very competent people, they don't want to listen to you. In some cases, it doesn't happen everywhere. But that means more people will come to the parliament or to the national scene when they are not really prepared for it. The other thing you can look at is the other tenets these people use to vote. For them, they want a person who is always with them. He's there at the burial, at the drinking point is there, on the radio is there, talking to them and exciting them. Say that one is ours. He's always with us. He eats with us. He stays with us. But after you voted for him, he has to get out of you and go to Kampala to do for you the work you have sent him to do. So at what point would the people understand this? So as we talk to them, don't give a vote for money. Also let them understand who is a good leader. How is the leader going to help you when you vote for him? Until they understand these basics, I think our country is headed for a more difficult time.
Wow, very interesting discussion. I'm seeing Honorable Joyce Bagala trying to connect, but I think she's having a connection problem. But these are very interesting.
But they gave them iPads, I imagine, and they should be having IT assistants. I wish she was near me. I would offer help.
She's having a connection problem. I hope she can come in because I want to bring her in now because the next part of the discussion, I want to focus. We are looking at one element of populism, but there's also another emerging trend. I think 2021 elections presented more non-career politicians as contestants. And I think we even have more of them now in parliament, meaning that I don't know that it's kind of speaks to or relates to what you've just said, how also the expectations of voters have changed over time and the quality of voters has changed over time, the decisions they make and the refined roles and expectations they have on their leaders. But we are also seeing a trend where non-career politicians performing artists, even I think for the first time in the history of Uganda, we even had someone who is a musician who now even contested for the highest seat in office. So that also partly touches the rise of populist politics. That the idea that career politicians, elite politicians, do. And if we are to go by the trend, because the numbers keep growing, and it's not just in Uganda, but let's just talk about Uganda. If we are to go by the trend, we are most likely to see those politicians, many of them, lose seats to non-career politicians. Is that what explains that trend, and what should we read into moving forward, especially in the multi-party dispensation politics of Uganda? Also looking at the political parties as institutions that are supposed to nurture future leaders, nurture ideology. It looks like now ideology is no longer an issue. It's about populism. Where does that leave the role of political parties in kind of like bringing back this country to the right course of practicing politics? Are they still relevant? If even in the wake where we are having now some individuals who are not necessarily politicians preferring to contest, join politics out of conviction, but not as career politicians. What's your take?
Well, is the Honorable on?
I don't seem to see the Honorable.
You should contact her privately on her line and see if she can pick up.
I've tried
this
to.
This a nice. It would be nice to engage with her. She's part of the beneficiaries of this new trend of non-career politicians shooting to power, and how well they serve the people, how well they fit in the expectations. Does it affect the performance of the roles of the offices that they come into? But the bigger picture is multi-party politics in Africa is still on the lower trend. In a multi-party setting, it's expected that political parties groom their own people who are being prepared to take power. Now, in the process of grooming people to take power, you provide what they call alternative opinion, or you are the alternative government in waiting. Actually, in the UK, the opposition is decently known as the Queen's alternative government, or the Queen's government in waiting. Maybe it is a way to gloss on it, but they mean it. They argue, they quarrel, but they don't go for each other's necks, because at the end of the day, each one has a role to play. And regularly they have kept changing. Today it is the Labour Party, tomorrow it is others, the other day, even in the US. But what builds them is that the party has a base of ideas that when they are in power, this is what they will do: A, B, C, D, E. In America, the Democrats and the Republicans, they have a common way of managing their foreign relations, but with slight differences. Every time you have had a Democrat as the president, the world is more peaceful, except for Obama, who came in at a wrong timing, I think. That's the time they killed Gaddafi and others. But normally, Democrats have, while they're in the seat in the US, the world has been a little more peaceful. But Republicans, even where there is no war, they look for it, such that they just cause a lot of chaos all through. You look at all those Republicans, and you see. Now, this is the kind of setting that a political party has a base of ideas which provide alternative leadership for the country. But political parties in Africa, they are founded on one thing: getting rid of some people from power, and then getting the other thing. Yes, I agree. The major objective of a political party is to take political power. Actually, I add that they take political power to keep, because it's not a joking subject that you fight and take political power, then you give it back as if you are exchanging dresses or suits. You take and keep. How you keep it, either as a team or individually or whichever way, but the party will be in power. Like CCM in Tanzania, they have tried to make sure that they don't leave power. They keep changing players. Nyerere is in, he's out. Mwinyi comes in, Mzee is out. Mzee Mkapa comes in, is out. Mzee Chukwete comes in, is out. Dr. Magufuli came in. God invited him early. He's out. There's another person now, Dr. Suru, etc. But it is CCM in power. Of course, in Uganda, yes, it is NRM in power. Whether we are changing the driver or not, the NRM is in. But the understanding is that the party builds ideas and provides alternatives, such that when they go to campaign, the people say, hey, so for you as a political party, as NUP, you don't agree with the UPE. No. What is your alternative? Maybe we are going to bring this kind of education. What about USE, Universal Secondary Education? You disagree like this. What about mass immunization of the people? We do like this. What about Operation Wealth Creation? What's the alternative you have? Such that you tell them, no, A, B, C, D is here. But what political parties do here, one, they are born prematurely, they raised to power prematurely, and they corrupt naturally. Now, sometimes they die a natural death because they're surrounded on one thing: get so and so out of power. These people are corrupt. These people have stolen money. These people are not serving us well. Blah blah blah. Get them out. In some countries, they are successful and they get them out. Unfortunately, those coming in somehow end up even being worse than those they replaced. Why? Because they have not gone through a good preparation to take political power and use it for the benefit of the people. So our opposition now, you know how Dr. Besigye came up and built over time. Actually, if he had taken power in 2001, I think it would have been different. But 2001 onwards, 2006, 2010, 2015, 16, you know, it has progressively grown. But along the way, I think he decided that I think it's been around for long. He kept off the scene. Others have come. But the party should build a base of ideas. So if you ask NUP now, what they have as alternatives to many policy provisions of the NRM or for the country, I'm not very sure. That's why I would have been happy to understand from the Honorable Joyce Bagala what alternatives they have, because it is those alternative policies that keep you that you take to the people and convince them. So please, for this has happened. Yes, you are also at liberty to tarnish the incumbent government a little, especially by exposing some of the roads. I know they benefited much from this. The people are very corrupt. They are very corrupt. They have stolen a lot of money. It is glaring. Why would you say? Where would you hide? People have stolen here, there, but they are tried in court. Sometimes they also bribe their way through court and they go. That's a dent. But other than exposing the dents of those you are unseating, what is your plan? As long as you don't have a plan, you can only keep. In Uganda, they call it a chine. It's like a wind blowing. It blows, but doesn't settle down. You go for a campaign and it's attended by so many people, but as they go back, they try to think through what you have talked, they regurgitate what you have said, and find a way through. Does this work? Does this work? Will it help? Then they vote as they wish. So I agree. It's good. It's a good thing for non-traditional politicians to also raise to power, because they have been on the side talking about power, talking about governance. This is now a chance for you. You have the chance in your hands to prove what you have been talking about. These people, they okay, now here you are. You tell us. These members of parliament, they are corrupt, they don't work. Now here you are there. You're a member of parliament. Can you change what you've been talking about? Unfortunately, when they also come in, they sometimes even become worse than those they found there, because they can't talk, or in between them they quarrel, they pull ropes. But it is a study that is still ongoing, I think, to see how they stabilize. In Uganda, you have been able to have FDC as the leader of opposition. In so short a time, just in a blink of an eye, it is no longer the leader of opposition. In parliament, there's a new group. In Kenya, it's worse, actually. It's like a business. Today it is ODM, tomorrow it is who? In Kenya is
oscillating,
where you
yeah.
can find the son of a founding president in a different political party from
Yes,
that of
yes.
his founding father. And the founding party is still there, led by other people. It's the other day that I realized that Gideon Moy is the chairman of KANU. I didn't even know that KANU was existing. Jaramogi Odinga went long ago. Raila Odinga is in a different party from what his father started.
They have crossed, yeah.
For them, Kenya is like that. It's like business. So, but to what extent can we stabilize these political parties or these political movements to be able to contribute to solving the problems of Ugandans? It's a great study that I think will take time for us to appreciate.
Wow, thank you so much. That has been Honorable Abbas Agaba, who is a former Member of Parliament for Kitagwenda. It's been a very interesting discussion. Unfortunately, I must bring it to a close because it's top of the hour. We were supposed to be up to exactly midday. We began slightly late, but the discussions have been quite, you are really able to fill the gap of Honorable Joyce Bagala. We've missed the part of her experience of fun discussing, having come through the wave of NOPE, and she would have shared that experience with us. But I think since the platform is still here, maybe some other time, I will invite her and make sure that she's really she's connected. And thank you, Honorable, first of all, for always willing to be part of this discussion. It's always a great pleasure to have you. Next time again, same time, same place, I think we'll be having another discussion. You're a very resourceful person to ACFIM and to ACFIM Talks. So allow me to bring this to a close. I've been Felix Kafuma, the moderator and the host for the talk show. Till next week, remember to observe the SOPs. COVID is still existing despite the partial lockdown that we are in. Please, so we need you alive. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The monster of money politics is eating up Uganda's democracy. When you take money from a candidate, it means you are feeding the monster. Then you become a part of the problem. When a candidate who overspends on campaigns is elected, he or she will not represent voters but himself. He or she will engage in corruption to recover campaign money. Social services will not be delivered and the voter will suffer more. Voter, let's be wise. Give democracy a chance. Do not sell your vote. Focus on the issue.